joy in the house of God. We need entertainment, because entertainment is the devil's substitute for joy.
We're living in a time, as the prophet...
Hello, everybody out there. This is Entertainment Is, and today I want to look at iPad Pro. And I made a short little video the other day about this, but then I decided, well, I'll just make a better one and, you know, put the verses and everything in it. I usually don't do videos quite like this, but I leave that to like Round Saturn, Zion Rise and stuff and people like that. But I just thought when I saw it, I was like, man, I mean, this is crazy what they're trying to do. So I thought I would make it because it shows basically Saturn battling with Jupiter, the king planet, and Mars, which is the planet of war, you know, and the all-seeing eye, and it looks like a spaceship and all this stuff. So let's get into it. I'll let you watch it first, and then we'll go back and talk about it. Okay, so you see how I think it's interesting that, first of all, if we look at okay, well, first let me play it a little bit till it gets to the okay. So first you see like the light rising, right? You see the light, okay, Lucifer. Okay, so there you see Saturn, right? Okay, so we can see that in Amos 5:26 it says, "But ye have bore the tabernacle of your Moloch and Sheem," which is in other translations is Saturn, "your image, the star of your God, which ye made to yourselves." Okay, so they're doing the same thing, right? They're adding this on there, the star of their God, Moloch. And that just looks to me like aliens coming, you know, like, and also like 2001: Space Odyssey. It kind of looks like that with the giant cube-looking black thing, right? And it was supposed to be a tetragrammaton, or however you say that, is what he wanted to put in it first, but then a lot of people wouldn't have known what that was because it's so occultic that he decided just to put that giant rectangle thing in there. It looks almost like a black cube, right? Okay, and then there you have Jupiter, right, which is known as the king planet, okay? And it's also interesting to look here in Acts 14:12. It says, "And they called Barnabas Jupiter and Paul Mercury, because he was the chief speaker." Okay. Now other translations translate this Venus. I'm sorry. Other translations translate this as Zeus and as Mercury. Okay, and because, you know, Mercury spoke a lot to people, but also Zeus is also, a lot of people put that the translation from the Greek is very close to Zeus for Jesus, right? But because why? Because Jupiter is the king planet, so it's associated with Zeus, but it also is associated many times with Jesus. Because why? Because we can see here in Revelation 19:16, "And he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords." Okay, so he is truly the King of Kings. So this, to me, is what they're trying to point to secretly, is that this is the king planet. Okay, this is the king planet, and Saturn is going to come and wage war with the king of kings. Okay, so Satan is going to wage war with Jesus. Okay, and can you see that? That's Mars in the all-seeing eye. So Mars is the war planet. So it's like saying that the Illuminati is about to wage war with the saints, like it says in Revelation, and with Jesus. Okay, so the all-seeing eye has war in it. It's looking for war. Now, what else is interesting to look at is that if we look at 2 Samuel 2:11:1, it says, "And it came to pass after the year was expired, at the time when the kings go forth to battle, that David sent Joab and his servant with him, and all Israel, they destroyed the children of Ammon, I'm sorry, and besieged Ram, and David tarried till he was at Jerusalem." So he didn't go to war with them. What's interesting about this time of the year is it's from, and I just put it in here because they're waging war, it's a cool time of the year. It's this time of the year, September to October. It's a better time to go to war, and all the kings knew this. So they would go to war between the end of September and the middle of October. Okay? So you see that, and that also points to Mars. Okay? If you do research in it, this time of the year also points to Mars at a particular time, and the Jewish time. Okay, so you'd have to do more research on it because I don't have a lot of time to do it on this. But it's interesting here that when they go out to wage war, it's between the end of September and the beginning of October. Okay, the Illuminati knows all this kind of crap too, the elite. So that's why they're putting this in here, and with September 23rd and all these things going on, we don't know if it's going to be an end of anything. I think it's just going to be somewhat of a beginning, and weird things are going to go on in the seen world and in the unseen world, definitely, the spiritual. Let's go on a little bit now. You see the light coming to the earth, okay, the Illuminati, the illumination, but Lucifer, the light bearer, okay, coming. Like in Revelation 12, it says, "Woe to the earth, because the dragon, the ancient serpent, Satan, has come down to the earth," right? Lucifer has actually come down to the earth physically, okay. Okay, so you see that? They throw the king planet. It's like they're saying, we don't want anything to do with Jesus, the King of Kings. We throw that away. The old way is gone, and here's the New World Order, which is all about Saturn, you know, Satan, the world, the cube, the matrix, all of that. And then here is your new order. Osiris worship, Nimrod worship. This is your Antichrist, your beast, sun worship, like it has been for so long, right? And see now you got the 3 points, you've got the sun in the middle of everything, okay? And how does God feel about that? Let's look here at Deuteronomy 4. 16 through 19 says this about sun worship and stuff.
"Lest ye corrupt yourselves, and make you a graven image, the similitude of any figure, the likeness of male or female, the likeness of any beast that is on the earth, the likeness of any winged fowl that flieth in the air, the likeness of anything that creepeth on the ground, the likeness of any fish that is in the waters beneath the earth." iPad Pro is basically a idol, right? And you see how it's showing all this worshiping of the sun and the planets and stuff, the hosts of their heaven. "And lest thou lift up thine eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon and the stars, even all the host of heaven, shouldest be driven to worship them and serve them, which the Lord thy God hath divided unto all nations under the whole
that's what
heaven."
They're doing in a way. They're worshiping Saturn, okay? And God said right there not to do it. Same thing in Ezekiel 8, and I don't know why, guys, but like I have been totally led to Isaiah 8 and Ezekiel 8 in the last 2 months. I mean, and it all has to do with the image of jealousy and all these false worship and the temple and all this stuff. It's crazy. Y'all should read it, okay? And it has to do with wizards and necromancy and you know, witches and different dimensions and all this stuff. You just should read it. Isaiah 8 and Ezekiel 8 and compare it to what's going on now in these times. So Ezekiel 8:15 through 18 says this.
Then said he unto me,
Hast thou seen this, O Son of Man? Turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations than these.
and he brought me into the inner court of the Lord's house. And behold, at the door of the temple of the Lord, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men, with their backs toward the temple of the Lord, and their faces toward the east. And they worshipped the sun toward the east.
See, they worship in the sun. It also sounds like Islam, right? But it also is Osiris worship and all this other stuff all mixed together. Baal worship and Moloch and all this stuff is just Satan, and it's just all mixed together, and his fallen angels and demons.
Then he said unto me,
Hast thou seen this, O Son of Man? Is it a light thing to the house of Judah that they commit the abominations which they commit here? For they have filled the land with violence, and have returned to provoke me to anger. And lo, they put the branch to their nose. Therefore will I also deal in fury. Mine eye shall not spare, neither will I have pity. And though they cry in mine ears with a loud voice, yet will I not hear them.
Right? Okay, so you see they'll cry out after all these things start coming to pass. It's in God's plan, but also they're trying to bring certain things into reality, right? But they'll cry out to him when it starts happening. Okay, so these are devices of men that the kings have brought forth, but we shouldn't be following after the devices of Satan, because we are ignorant of his devices. And also, we don't want to be in the snare of the devil, okay? Because like in Ecclesiastes, it says that many are men are made upright, but many are their inventions that they run after. Okay, so let's look at 2 Kings 23:4-7, which speaks about, getting rid of these things.
The high priests and the priests of the second order and the keepers of the door to bring forth out of the temple of the Lord all the vessels that were made for Baal and for the grove and for all the host of heaven. And he burned them without Jerusalem in the fields of Kidron, and carried the ashes of them unto Bethel. And he put down the idolatrous priests, whom the kings of Judah had ordained to burn incense in the high places in the cities of Judah, and in the places round about Jerusalem. Them also that burned incense unto Baal, to the sun, and to the moon, and to the planets, and to all the host of heaven. And he brought out the grove from the house of the Lord, without Jerusalem, unto the brook Kidron, and burned it at the brook Kidron, and stamped it small to powder, and cast the powder thereof upon the graves of the children of the people. And he brake down the houses of the Sodomites that were by the house of the Lord, where the women wove hangings for the grove. And he brought all.
Okay, so can you see how all of that stuff is going on now? You have the worshiping of the sun, of the hosts, of Jupiter, of Saturn, of all of this stuff, and you have the sodomite thing that's going on, because it's just Sodom and Gomorrah again right now, right? Especially in America. So it's crazy. It's all this stuff is going on, and they're showing this stuff hidden in plain sight like they always do, right? And we just have to be, he says Jesus said, I send you out as sheep amongst the wolves. Be as wise as the serpent, but as innocent as the dove. So we have to be as wise as the serpent to see all this that they're hiding in plain sight. Okay, alright, thank you guys. Wake and watch for Yeshua. God is love, and I love God. Amen.